Look at this moment from Obsession.
Kiss the person on your left.
There's this little thing that makes it tense despite being funny. The camera stays still. For few seconds, nothing happens. What's interesting is that there's nothing happening in the shot itself. All the tension comes from what has happened and what could possibly unfold. The film just stretches the time between these two to create tension. When I watched Obsession first, I didn't thought much of it. I liked the film and it carried me throughout, but initially I didn't thought I have much to talk here. This feeling I guess might have came from the simplicity of the film, but the kind of success the film had, despite being made by very little budget and by an indie filmmaker, the kind of cultural acceptance it gathered was what made me curious to revisit it. Because it's not that Obsession is the only well-made horror film that has come out in recent years. You also have someone like Ari Aster making some genuinely original and brilliant work, whom Curry Barker himself draw inspirations from. Hereditary in particular, if you see, is a proper horror film, and it was, if not more, but equally brilliant piece of filmmaking, and it does gathered attention and success, but it's not that hard to accept the fact that it did not gather the kind of cultural cloud as compared to Obsession. I first thought Hereditary is a better film from pure filmmaking standpoint, and I still think that. But what captivated my attention is the audience reception of this film, and what made Obsession more accessible than that of films like Hereditary. That's what essentially we are going to explore in this video. We will look into both thematic and technical aspects of the film. So welcome back, I'm Mahesh, a film buff and an aspiring filmmaker. On this channel, I try to share my insight from films as I try to expand my understanding of cinema. So I hope you watch the video till end. One of the noticeable things that separates Obsession from films like Hereditary is its narrative structure. In Hereditary, you don't really know what's happening in the film. It carries you through the mood. All you know is something is strange.
She wanted me to be a boy.
Film gives us information in bits and pieces, which we interpret in a way based on how the perspective through which film is revealing it, only to shock us with something else. But until the end, we don't quite understand what was really happening. This kind of narrative engages more to your intellect than that of emotions, because you are constantly trying to figure out what's happening. Now compare this to the narrative structure of Obsession. There is a start where characters and themes are introduced. That bear likes Nikki and buys a one wish willow and uses it. Then there's a long middle where we just simply follow everything that's happening as a consequence of the wish, and the ending where bear tries to solve his mistake. And of course, it's a point where things are emotionally elevated from all the mess that had happened. Obsession ensures that people are following the narrative. When bear makes the wish, we know something's going to happen, as we have been hinted at the very buying stage about its probable danger.
Okay, well, don't come back complaining.
This is because the film simply wants people to be there to witness the unfolding events. Unlike that of Hereditary, where you were constantly trying to piece things together, the technique Obsession uses engages people emotionally, hence it is much more immersive. Curry Barker takes a very abnormal situation like
Said you had something for me?
someone snapping in different person and presents it in a very grounded way.
What the fuck?
Nikki arrives back right away.
Oh, shit.
The change in her behavior is drastic.
How you feel about her is having a crush on her, then that would be how you feel about her. Oh, okay.
She's saying weird things,
I mean, I did just lose my cat, Bear.
repeating words,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
trying to persuade him inside her home,
Where did you...
going at his place,
Smells like you.
escalating things. The grounded unfolding of the event is what makes it intriguing and gripping to watch, as it keeps you on the edge.
What does that mean? What's the verdict, cat?
Film also builds scenes in a way that spark anticipation. For example, take this simple scene where Bear is going for his job and we have shown his reaction first. Then it holds on to it a little while before cutting on the door. The narrative keeps the tension as we feel curious to find out whether he will be able to open the door. The film is full of moments where the camera holds. The shot doesn't cut away for unusually long stretches. One of the most tense example of this is the corner or say flower scene. Let's look at the narrative structure of this scene. Baron wakes up at night to find Nikki crying in the corner in a strange way. She tells him go to sleep. As he tries to sleep again, the shot stays still on him. It is a tense moment even though nothing is happening, because you are anticipating what may happen, and the film breaks this quiet abruptly to pan shot mixed with a scream of Nikki, followed by her strange walk. This escalates the tension, only to withhold it as she stands still with flower. Again the camera holds up. Film breaks this moment with a slight relief as she casually moves back in the bed. Film again holds up the shot, prolonging the tension as Bear tries to slowly get out of the bed, creating more anticipation to end with a simple word. Essentially, this scene is a perfect example to show that how Cory Barker plays with tension, escalation, and prolonging it. Another thing Cory Barker does is he breaks monotony by sudden actions, like the sudden snapping out character of Nikki when they are making out, or breaking an emotional monologue with a casual remark.
There's just nothing. Or you could stay.
Or sudden strange walk or running. He also uses the day scenes like Bear with Ian or at store to ease out the tension for a while before bringing it again. The film brilliantly uses cinematography as well, especially the way Nikki is lit in some scenes. Like in lot of scenes, we see Nikki just as a silhouette, like the background behind her is lit, but she is not. It creates this dreadful feeling around her, as if she is not real or as lively as the background behind her, as if she is just a mere shadow of someone else. Also look at the lighting in this scene where Nikki tells Baron that she loves her. She is a silhouette here and she has this sort of white lighting, a subtle white glow in her eyes. It creates this feeling that whatever is happening is not right. It seems conflicted, which we know by the narrative already, but the way this moment is shot, it elevates the emotional appeal of that feeling. Also throughout the film, at many instances, Nikki is shown like a shadow looming in the background. Even in the scene where Bear is trying to express himself, there is a shadow of a person that walks from behind them. Now I don't know whether it was incidental or intentional, but regardless, it adds up to the way the scene feels. Besides filmmaking, another aspect that made Obsession accessible is its thematic relevance at the moment. We talked about the way Nikki is lit like a silhouette and how it creates this dreadful feeling. What's really interesting is that we also feel in this way while scrolling or just going through life in this post social media world. We are constantly surrounded by advertisements, AI slop, opinions, music, tragedies, just this overwhelming media landscape that shows us a scene from a war right after a music show clip. I think it's not just obsession. More filmmakers and artists are now trying to portray this dread that we feel more and more nowadays. Maybe not intentionally, but intuitively. Also, the situation of Nikki as person who's stuck in her body behaving as a different person, could be interpreted in so many different ways. I mean, people who are stuck in corporate jobs can relate to it, where you are not just serving in return for the money, but you also have to shut your personal expression to survive in that environment. I mean, the world is full of people who are somewhere they don't belong, but it seems they can't do much about it. So, that was my perspective on obsession and why it became such a big cultural phenomenon. So, that was all for today. You can share your own perspective on the film as well. We will see you in the next video then. Have a nice day. Bye.